The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss fertilizer, organic, inorganic, blood meal, bone meal, what you need to know, and how it works, as well as growing potatoes. Our guest is children's author Brett Pike will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour is full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. So happy you've taken time out of your day to allow us to be part of it. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you're tuning in, whether you're listening to us on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2025. Through a radio app, through our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. Underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay, in-studio video replay. Thank you so much for choosing us. If you want to be part of the program, you can certainly do that by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call 24/7, 365 at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's toll free, coast to coast. 1-800-927-7469. 1-800-927-SHOW. And if you we can't get to you, leave a message and we will call you back. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
So, what does a flower do when they get caught in a lie?
Well, first of all, I didn't know flowers would lie, but I'm not. What?
They backpedal.
Backpedal.
Mm-hmm. This week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pest insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. You can learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com. So let's talk about fertilizer.
Fertilizer, we're going to break it down because we've always been conditioned. Okay, we plant something, we add fertilizer. If we think we got bad soil, we add fertilizer. Organic, inorganic, we add fertilizer. So we're going to break this down, organic versus inorganic, and make it make sense.
Break it down. So, okay. So a lot of people might have misconceptions about organic and inorganic fertilizer. They might think just because it's sold in the gardening area of a store that it's all the same, things like that. So there's a difference between organic and inorganic fertilizer. Organic fertilizers are made from or derived from living things. This includes plants, animals, manures. So any of these comes from the earth. Sometimes it's a combination of those things. Sometimes it's like a fungi situation. So yeah. And then inorganic fertilizer are synthetically derived chemicals plus minerals from the earth. So a common one is ammonium nitrate. That's a common inorganic fertilizer. People will add the nitrate because it does quickly take care of a problem with low
Instant
nitrate.
response.
However, it takes care of the problem short term, but it doesn't take care of the problem long term.
Kind of like an energy drink. It keeps you excited and going for a little bit, and then once that energy drink wears off, then you're back where you was. Is that kind of the concept?
Yeah.
Okay.
So organic stays in your soil longer. They feed the soil. They add to the soil in a way not necessarily like compost, but it allows the plant to pick up what it needs versus kind of like just being forced to pick up.
To accept it. And organic fertilizers are typically the numbers on the bag, which is the NPK or nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, are the lower spectrum, 283, 173. The synthetic fertilizers are typically the higher number, 1010, 2020, 30, those type of ranges of numbers.
Right. So, inorganic is used fast by plants, which we talked about. The other thing is it's washed out by the soil quickly. It's very water soluble. So if you decide do decide to use inorganic, don't think more is better, because the plant's only going to take basically what it needs, and then the rest of it's going to get washed out quickly. Organic kind of floats around in the soil. It becomes part of the ecosystem within the soil. It breaks down.
Okay, yeah.
It breaks down much slower than inorganic.
And the organic, the microorganisms are able to break that down and make it utilized in a usable form for all plant life. Your potatoes, your peppers, whatever you're going to, and the weeds around it as well.
Right. And a lot of times when you use the inorganic, it does cause like this shell, like hard surface over the soil, which is it's not the worst thing, but it's not, to me personally, I would be like, that's weird. I don't want that going on. So
you're saying when it
garden.
uses the inorganic, it creates a barrier.
Yeah, like it makes the soil have this like toughness on top.
Okay.
So to me, it makes me feel like there's not good things from the earth getting in there.
Because normally soil does not create a casing over top of it to protect itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think about like the worms and the microorganisms and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. Do whatever you want, but that's just how
we're just giving you the information.
Yeah.
We practice an organic means of gardening. If you choose not to, that is what you feel is best for your particular growing situation.
Now, blood meal is a great alternative, or I don't want to say alternative. It's a great organic nitrogen. It's usually higher. Like when you're looking at the bag, the NPK on the
1200.
Yeah, like a 1200, like a 1210, something like that. Blood meal does release nutrients over a period of 2 to 6 weeks. So
it is not a form of a vegan. It is derived from animal blood.
Yeah. So you can use other things, but blood meal is, I think, is it urea?
Urea is one. Yeah.
So there are things that are more vegan friendly or vegetarian friendly. Blood meal is obviously not. Some people do use chicken feather meal. Again, probably not vegan either, vegetarian. And that's about 12% nitrogen. So if you are striving to
alfalfa meal, cottonseed meal, feather meal are alternatives, not the urea that we were speaking about. So those are alternatives to giving you that same rich in nitrogen level for a more vegan-friendly option.
Right. So then for the phosphorus, that would be rock phosphate, bone meal, and then qualytyl phosphate. And keep in mind, you need to think about how these are mined or captured,
right,
or whatever you want to call it. Some people,
bone meal is the ground up portion, and there are people in urban settings or in like homesteading settings that will take the animals that they butchered and create bone meal for their growing situation. That is a thing.
Yeah, I believe it. So then for the third number, which is the potassium, which is the K, then we have kelp. So that would be vegan, I think.
Yeah, it's coming from the ocean.
Yeah, wood ash, granite meal, and then green sand.
With the wood ash, you got to be careful, because if you add too much, you can disrupt the pH level of your soil. And based on what you're burning, certain woods are more soil friendly, and you want to completely stay away from the pressure treated lumber if you're going to use ash for your garden.
So just a quick kind of rule of thumb, possibly, if you are not sure what your garden needs, I mean, you could do a soil test, or if you're like, hey, I have this issue, this might be why. Nitrogen is for the green parts of the plants. Potassium, no.
Yes.
Phosphorus.
Phosphorus
is for the root and the fruit, basically. And then potassium is for the overall health.
A balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
So that in case you're like, I don't know what these numbers mean, you can do more research, but you could also get a soil test.
Soil test from growsmart.com or soilsavvy.com. And the fun little fact, and I think there's very few things in this world that are universal no matter where you go in the world, those three numbers are the same in every country, in every form of fertilizer, NPK. I think like one of the few other things is like the universal air traffic controllers all have to speak English is the standard language for air communication. But there's few things, and in the world, everything's the same.
Yeah,
so
that's true. So just to kind of talk about how this works, organic fertilizers are providing nutrients into the soil, and they're slow release. So they're moving around the soil, and that's how it works. That's how they work in the soil. The soil kind of breaks them down, the microorganisms, the fungi, the worms, the little microscopic things you don't see that are eating the organic matter. So that's how organic fertilizer works. It feeds the soil. It lives in the soil.
The soil is living.
Then the plants are like, hey, I need that, and they take what they need
when they need it.
Yeah, and then inorganic is like, here, this is what you're going to get.
In big ag industry, it is that is inorganic agricultural. The soil is just a medium for the plant to grow in, and you're supplementing all the nutrients that plant needs. The corn, the soybeans, the wheat, because the soil is basically dead. You can go on a field and dig a long way in an agricultural field that's been there for many years, and you won't find worms at all because all the chemicals, and that's just the way the world works. That's the way the farmers have to farm in this particular time frame of the history, and that's the way it is.
So if you're wondering where do I stand in being able to provide this information to you, and if it's accurate, I do have a bachelor's of science in environmental science, so I do understand this very well.
You know some stuff.
I know some stuff.
You know some stuff about some things.
Yeah.
Well, also, Walton's Inc. has some knowledge about some things as well.
Yeah, we know you care about where your food comes from, canning, preserving, etc. At waltonsinc.com, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatjuststicks.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. They even have a full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, and more to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50 at waltonsinc.com to save 10% off of your order of $50 or more.
When we return, it's the world of how to grow potatoes. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account. 4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4Jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4JARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com. Hey listeners, we're excited to introduce to you Sun Warrior. They are well known for protein powders and supplements, and that they are 100% clean, plant-based, non-GMO, soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, and without filler. Since you are into gardening and things that come from the earth, we thought you would appreciate that they offer high-quality, plant-based ingredients that come from our Mother Earth and that your body is craving. They've made a special code for you for 25% off your order. At checkout, enter JoeyHolly25 and save 25% on your order at sunwarrior.com. That coupon code JoeyHolly25 to save 25% off your order at sunwarrior.com.
Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at TotallyTomato.com. That's code 15TG25. Good garden tools make gardening easier. Wisconsin-made Cobra head tools simplify weeding, cultivating, digging, and planting. Favorites of professional gardeners, Cobra head tools are durable, ergonomic, and easy to work with. Visit CobraHead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order. Brome is home to the Squirrel Buster brand of truly squirrel-proof bird feeder. We have been designing and manufacturing wild bird feeders since 1998. When a squirrel lands on the Squirrel Buster, its weight automatically closes the seed ports, denying access to the seed, but not harming the squirrels. We design products that are simple enough for anyone to use. They are built to last a long time and are backed by our lifetime care to extend the life of our products. We offer expert customer service to help owners with any needed maintenance or repairs. Visit Brome.com for more information. Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at DripWorks.com.
Edmonds Roses is a family-owned and operated rose company with the largest selection of roses online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at EdmondRoses.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at EdmondsRoses.com.
Want bigger blooms and better yields? Without the hassle, Carricade makes gardening easy with eco-friendly, effective solutions. Rated 4.8 stars, trusted by growers like you. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's RADIO10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com. Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. A lot of great companies supporting this program so you can hear it each weekend. If you miss any of those coupon codes, you can certainly go to our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page. We're going to talk about growing potatoes, Holly, and some techniques and some information that you may not be aware of when it comes to growing potatoes that will help your potato growing be more successful this year.
Yeah. So, you want to make sure that you are growing the correct potatoes. So you don't need seed potatoes necessarily, but you also don't want to take like just any old potato that you have in your pantry or from the store. You want to ensure that it's going to have some sprouts on it. Right.
A good potato or potatoes, if you buy at pick a spot and you leave them in the bag in the pantry, most likely 99% of the time you're going to get some of them to sprout. Some may sprout very rapidly and very vigorously. Other ones may just be very minute. You want those vigorous ones. And you can go to your organic grocery store and purchase them as well. Now, there are places, farm stores, where you can buy a 50-pound bag of seed potatoes for just as much as you could buy a 10-pound bag at a big grocery store, and they would have many more varieties in which to choose from. But you can grow potatoes and grow them successfully without having to purchase quote-unquote seed potatoes. There are benefits to those seed potatoes, meaning that they are more likely to be disease-free, and you know the variety precisely what they are versus, well, this is a russet that you bought at the grocery store and they started sprouting, or these red potatoes. And with the benefit of seed potatoes, you know the variety, whether they're a short season, mid-season, or long season, meaning 70 up to 120, 130 days. You know precisely how long they should be growing before they're ready to harvest. You can do some research and find out when you buy a bag of potatoes from your grocery store what they specifically are, where they've originated from, and the variety or like varieties, and approximately the time frame. Is it going to take 80 days to reach maturity before they start dying back, or they're going to be 130 like a fingerling potato may be? So
it does work both ways.
Now, one thing I want to know is this is not the same process for like a sweet potato or a yam. Those are considered.
Go ahead.
Those are considered
Tropical.
Tropical. Yeah.
Same name, different family.
Right. So just keep that in mind. So you want, once you do determine if you are going to use your store-bought potatoes that have sprouted, and you see like, oh, this one, is about 3 inches long. Can I cut it up? It has sprouts on both ends. And you can, but you just want to make sure you don't let them be smaller than like the size of a chicken egg.
Right. You want at least one, preferably 2 sprouts or eyes on each of those potatoes chunks. It's called sprouting or chitting, which is I believe it's a European term of allowing the potatoes to begin to sprout eyes so you can divide them better. Now, some commercial growers will sometimes plant the whole potato, or they'll divide the potato into chunks based on manpower and size of the field that they're planting. But you can just put these in any type of seed tray, the potatoes that you buy either from the store that you're wanting to plant or from your seed provider, and put them like in an egg carton. Put them, you'll be able to see the root end or where it was connected to the plant. You want to put that down. You're going to see a little indentation, like a reverse, like a, what we call it,
like a cone.
A cone, and you'll put that that be down, and the potato will sit vertically. And you want an indirect light, normal ambient temperature, and then you will be able to begin to see these potatoes starting to eye out, and then you can see if you need to divide them if they're large, or if you need to plant them as if they're smaller than a regular size or medium sized chicken egg. We have a friend who has, I would say, you like red potatoes. Our friend does not like red potatoes, and they are sitting in a bowl on her counter, and there's probably a dozen red potatoes that have 2 to 3 inches sprouts on them, and if they will last another 3 weeks until the soil gets warm enough to put them in the ground, and they've been there 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do decide to cut up your potatoes, you can let them scab over, but say you forgot. Can you just put them in the ground without letting them
You can put them
over?
in the ground without putting anything on that scab. If your time is limited, you got the potatoes, you're going to plant them tomorrow morning, you divided them or you cut them up tonight, you can throw them in the ground tomorrow. That's not going to be detrimental. There is the opportunity, a higher probability that an insect may get in there and start eating that potato because that is a fresh scab. If you are able to do 2 or 3 days in advance to allow them to scab over, or roll them in the cut portion in some sulfur, that will also limit or slow down or prevent some insects from eating the potato and not allowing you to have a potato to grow.
Yeah. So let's talk about
what you put in the hole at the time of planting.
Well, first, let's talk about where you want to put these potatoes.
Full sun.
Full sun.
Potatoes need anywhere from 70 to 120, 130 days to reach maturity. You will want full sun and good, rich, nutrient-rich soil with water. You got to have water, which goes without saying. But they will get, I believe, what is it called? Black and heart. I think that's the wrong term. Where you will have a potato that's full size. You cut it open, and there's like a black hard marble inside of it, where it didn't get enough water, and then it got more water, and then it continued to grow. Everything around that is fine, but when you bake it and you cook with it, you want to remove that blackened part.
Okay, yeah. So you want to make sure you get the full sun and you have a place to plant them. And then when you do plant them, you don't need to hill them. You can hill them, but you don't need to.
You don't need to hill them. We have done no-dig potatoes where we have loosened the soil up where we intend to plant them so we can nest them in the soil, and then we throw straw, dry grass clippings, leaves, 2 or 3 foot tall mound over these and just walk away from them. We do apply fertilizer on that loose soil before we apply the coverage, and it works very well.
Was that just a general NPK?
A general NPK, organic fertilizer. If you want to, precisely know what you need, a soil test is great. Sulfur, is a really good key. They want some nitrogen, but they don't need a whole lot of nitrogen. You want to, if you're going to do planting in a trench, you want to add potash to the recommended rate on the bag in order to get the nutrient value in which it needs for the potato.
Okay, so
hollow heart is what it's called.
Hollow heart, okay.
Black spot or hollow heart is what it's called when that black spot is inside that potato. It's simply because there was not enough moisture in the growing, and then it got moisture, and it continues to grow.
It had like a little growth problem.
Right. Deficiency.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you want to make sure your soil temp is going to be consistently 50 degrees at the planting zone, the planting depth.
The root zone.
Yeah. So, and you also want to make sure there's no chance of freeze. I mean, obviously you can't control the weather, but you want to be past the chance of a hard freeze. If it's going to like frost, it could be okay, but not a freeze.
A hard frost is going to kill the tops off if they're above ground, and the plant will regrow that top growth. Now, it's going to slow them down greatly. Now, the other thing we need to mention is if you've got those seed potatoes and they're starting to get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 inch long sprouts on them, you don't want to cut those off. Cutting them off and breaking them off resets that potato in a recovery method, and it may not have enough energy. The energy inside that potato is what's causing those sprouts to grow, and those sprouts, when long enough in the ground and get exposed to sunlight, they will begin to leaf out and then detach themselves when they have enough energy from the sun from that root potato. So you want to leave these long sprouts on. If it's 8-9 inches long, bury the sprout in the ground or cover it like we were talking about with the no-till method, and they will grow very, very well. Don't break these things off. You're going to set everything back, and if there's not enough energy in that potato itself, it's not going to regenerate a new growth tip.
So, yeah, so there you go. And then, as Joey had mentioned, you want to make sure you provide plenty of water for your potatoes, but especially when you plant them, you want to make sure you're watering them in really nice and well so that they can get established, and that helps them.
Or you plant them and then drop a drip line on top of them and let it go that way.
But either way, you want to water them in. You don't want to just set it and forget it.
Yeah, we're not talking about the wrong pill chicken roaster or whatever it is. Yeah.
That they do need water. And, people plant their potatoes in spring, and think, oh, it's going to rain. Just water them in. It's fine.
And then you can also get a fall crop. You can harvest your garlic in July and throw a row of potatoes in, or a batch of potatoes in July, and then you can get a fall harvest too. So you can actually get 2 seasons in one.
There you go. Especially if you have like a 90-day.
Yeah, 90-day. Yeah, mid-season. Variety. Yeah.
It is fun. You might think, okay, I'm going to use these potatoes I have in my fridge or my pantry or whatever. It is fun to look at a seed potato catalog company, whatever, and see what varieties they have, because they have like blue potatoes,
purple potatoes,
things like that. So something different. If you are, kind of a foodie chef, home chef, whatever, look at your options. It might not hurt to buy just a couple pounds.
And in those catalogs, or you can just do an internet search, they will tell you, there's charts that this type of potato is good for frying. This one's good for baking. It's not a one-all fix-all deal. And if you're going to grow potatoes, highly encourage you to get a soil test, because we cannot grow potatoes in our big garden for nothing. But we can grow them at your sister's backyard, phenomenal, and in our front yard, 75% good.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in our big garden. Our soil is not, and we've done what we need to do, and it just does not work. So don't be discouraged.
My sister's garden, she grew fingerling potatoes, and they look like Russ's.
Yeah,
they were so large.
Yeah. And you can you want to harvest these when the plants begin to die back is when the time to harvest them are. Typically, you're looking at 10 weeks, 11, 12 weeks before, and not all of them are going to put flowers on, and the flowers do not indicate the color of the potato, and some of them will have little green balls or what mimics a little cherry green tomato that is simply pure seeds or true seeds. Those are toxic. You do not eat them.
Don't eat them. Yeah.
And there are some people that are purists that like to get those and then start potatoes from them from seed in like late November, early December, and then get a big enough plant in order to transplant it in the ground when the time comes in your particular growing situation. Well,
speaking of growing situations,
soon it will be warm enough that we can get in the garden and start doing what we need to do. And that in turn will ignite the Japanese beetles and grubs that are in your yard. And we want to stop that before it gets too bad.
Yes, spring is here. So it's time to think about controlling beetles and grubs in your garden or yard.
Grub Gone is the best product for this. You can apply this directly to your turf or garden around ornamentals to control those grubs and impact what the beetles are going to do to your yard. You want to stop them before they take effect. Easy to apply with a commercial spreader or irrigate it right into the soil. It is designed specifically to target beetles, invaders, without harming beneficial insects like bees, butterflies, and ladybugs.
And to be honest, it's the only non-chemical that works. You can find out more at phyllumbioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.
Hang out with us when we return. Children's author Brett Pike will be with us. You're tuned in with the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Do you have pets trying to leave your fenced area or pests trying to enter your fenced area or garden? Dig Defense provides peace of mind that your pets are contained safely and humanely in your yard, and other animals or pests stay out. With several sizes to pick from, Dig Defense is the easy, safe way to extend the protection of your fence, protecting your pets and your property. Find out more at stopthedig.com. Get higher yields with durable green bed raised garden bed kits designed to be drainable, breathable, pest resistant, and long lasting. DurableGreenBed.com. Abundance guaranteed. Check out ivorganics.com. It's America's leading garden product YouTube channel. IV Organic products are innovative, organic, effective, and proudly USA made to help you achieve your best growing season. Use coupon code RADIO10 at checkout and save 10% on your entire order at ivorganics.com. That coupon code again is RADIO10 to save 10% on your order at ivorganics.com. Watering is the key to a healthy garden, but it can take up a lot of your time. Water less with Soil Moist. Grow beautiful plants with less water. Soil Moist polymers reduce your plant's watering by 50%, reduce transplant shock and soil compaction, and are effective in your soil for 3 to 5 years. It is an effective watering management aid that is ideal for internal and external plantings, such as trees, shrubs, containers, baskets, flower beds, vegetables, and turf. Soil Moist acts as a form of insurance for your plants and is environmentally friendly. It is easy to apply at the time of planting or transplanting. Spend more time doing what you enjoy and let Soil Moist work smarter for you. Bolster your plant's nutrient and water uptake with Soil Moist. Enhance microbial and plant growth. No need to spend extra time worrying about watering your plants. Easy to follow instructions right on the label. To find where to purchase and to see all their products, contact your local garden center or visit soilmoist.com.
Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at summitresponsibleSolutions.com. Tree Ivy Root Development System, the quickest way to get new trees on their feet. TreeIvy.com. Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
Wind River Chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Great companies that are supporting the program to allowing you to hear the program each week on your radio station. You can find all those at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page and the Money tab at the top of the page. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Brett Pike is a father, children's book author, entrepreneur, and small business owner, and is passionate about homeschooling. He has written a number of books, including his most recent one called Benny Starts a Business. Welcome to the program, Brett.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you on the program. Let's start with this. You're writing children's books. What inspired you to write children's books? Where was the aha moment and said that you felt that this was your path in life?
Yeah, well, sometime around 2015, I started to go through an awakening where I realized a lot of the things that I learned coming up through school were not exactly accurate. And I had a background in history, I had a degree in history education, and I go through this awakening and I start to realize that a lot of the history I was taught, not just in high school, but all through college, was not exactly accurate. And you start to learn about certain events in American history that were never even brought up. And I wanted to make sure that my son, 2018, I had my first son, and he's about 1 year old at the time now. So 2019, I start writing this book, and I wanted to make sure that he had entertainment that would teach him the things that I wasn't taught so that he wouldn't have to figure it out as an adult. And that really led to my first book, which is Good Bears Always Tell the Truth, and ultimately led to the entire Cubs to Bears series.
And the wonderful thing about the internet can be a horrible thing or a wonderful blessing. We learn things in a way that we kind of question what was all of the stuff that we were taught. What was the main purpose of that specific agenda?
Yeah, well, there's the internet, and then the most valuable resource, and I would stress this to any parent, I would stress this to anyone who wants to give their children a great education, is we have more access to books today than anybody at any time in human history. And you could interact with the greatest minds in human history. You don't even have to read the books because so many of them have been put into audio form where you could have the books read to you. And by just going back and reading autobiographies of historical figures, you could get a really good sense of not only who they were, but what was important to them, what they wanted to leave behind, what they wanted the world to know about their time here on Earth. And every one of us has the ability to do that. I mean, right now, you could sit your kid down and they could interact with Ben Franklin, and that's a really amazing concept.
Definitely. So kind of segueing into that, how did you get into homeschooling? Were you homeschooled yourself? It sounds like you weren't. So is this something then, as you have decided to do as an adult? So why the homeschooling?
Well, that kind of got into my awakening, and I went to school to be a teacher, and I got into that system, and pretty amazing once you get into the school system. Like, I was at an inner city school in Queens, New York, and I remember it was my first day, and I get up in front of the class, 9th grade global, just met these students, said, okay, I'm going to do a simple lesson. So I pull out a map of the world, and I said, who could point to Africa? And no one raised their hand. And these are black faces. This is inner city of New York and Queens. I said, who could point to Africa on a map? And at first I thought, all right, they're not interested. And then I realized after a few seconds, like, oh my God, no one in the class knows. There's 30 students in here and they're in 9th grade and no one could point to Africa on a map. And I realized something was really wrong with the system, and I had a lot of moments like that. So I knew then that I would never send my children, when I had them, to the public school system. And I went through my awakening, so I started to research, well, what's the problem with the school system? And I started to come across really great minds like Dorothy Sayers and John Taylor Gatto. And I started to realize what was wrong with the school system. And with my background and my expertise, I thought, you know what? I'm going to start showing people how they should educate their children. And I started doing consultations one-on-one, how I would educate your child if they were mine. And there was so much demand there. I was pretty shocking. I kind of pinched myself. And one thing just led to another where, eventually you go from, all right, well, I can only meet with so many people in a day. But what I could do is I could create an online community group, and then I could coach everyone all at once. And, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, now we have a curriculum we've built out. We have tens of thousands of people have been educated by Classical Learner, and it's really pretty amazing, the journey.
Well, tell us about your books. From the books that you've written, to me, it's a moral basis and an educational basis and an entertaining basis all tied into one. Yeah, so the books are living fiction, living history. So they're fictional, but they're true. So, for example, we have Operation Mockingbird and the Church Committee. Quick background on the history. In the 1970s, there was a congressional hearings, the Church Committee. And they looked into the activities of the CIA, the FBI, what people call the deep state, and they found a lot of corruption. And part of that corruption was the CIA had been spending billions of dollars, adjusted for inflation, bribing the mainstream media to report fake news, the congressionally documented history of fake news. Now, one of the things that I never learned about in high school, that I never learned about in college, was about this congressionally documented history of America has a big problem with fake news. So one of the books I wrote is called Operation Mockingbird and the Church Committee. And it follows the story of Red Rooster. And he gets into the news business. And, every morning on the news, they spread the news with daily cock-a-doodle-doos, right? So Red Rooster gets into the news business, and he's told the Bears are really bad. All the other roosters are saying the Bears are bad. Charisma Cat, who's our arch villain, the Bears are bad. And he starts following the Bears around because he's going to get to the bottom of it. And he finds out that the Bears were actually the good guys. And that, he goes through a whole transformation. He follows the evidence board. And the kids kind of go through that journey with him. So, like, for example, early in the book, the news rooster reports of a bear stealing a bike. And later in the book, you can see that same moment in time, but rather than being up close to the bear's face, you could see the whole picture. And when you see the whole picture, you see, oh, wait a second, he's not stealing a bike. That's just what they made it look like with that close-up picture. And it's teaching children, one, about the history, and two, it's familiarizing them with the types of manipulation they're going to come across as they get older, but in a child-friendly way that's just, oh, it's fun, I'm reading a book. And then you've also got a book about You Are What You Eat, Cubs to Bears. I mean, share us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, that's a two-part series. So you have You Are What You Eat, which really, right, I mean, that goes back to Greece. That goes back thousands of years, right? Let food be thy medicine. And it goes from you plant the seeds, and the seeds become sprouts, and it goes over the process of photosynthesis, right? The animals eat the plants, and they get the nutrients, and then we eat the animals, and we get the nutrients, and you are what you eat, again, in a child-friendly way where they could see the entire process of how food is made, where it comes from, where energy comes from, where nutrients come from. And that's book one. It's just the foundations of that. Educational, right to the point. And then we have book two in that series, which is You Are What You Eat, part two, the GMO square down. And that's the introduction of the science rat. And it goes over the process of what GMOs are, the chemicals that are being sprayed in our food, and how when the chemicals are sprayed in the food, the effects they have on the bugs, on the environment, on the biodiversity, and then in turn, what happens when those chemicals that are on the food get into our body. And it just plays right off of the first book of You Are What You Eat. And these are fundamental lessons that our children should know. What food is, where food comes from, what good food is, what these industrial products are and what they do to the food, what they do to the biodiversity. And then in turn, that biodiversity lives inside our own biomes, right, in our system. So we want to make sure that we're putting things into our system that strengthens us, not things that could potentially disrupt our systems and kill our microbiomes.
Definitely very, very interesting and a good way for children to learn. So if somebody wants to get into homeschooling, what is something that they should consider before doing so? I know I have friends who
There's kind of a movement.
Yeah, it's kind of a movement. I have friends who homeschool. I know that they talk about these different programs and whatnot. What's something that people might want to consider before they decide to, jump and do the homeschooling versus the public schooling or whatever?
Yeah, homeschooling is the fastest growing grassroots freedom movement in modern American history. It's amazing. There's 3.7 million homeschoolers in America. That's almost 7% of the schooling population is being homeschooled, and people are pulling out of public schools in absolute droves. And it's so funny because you always hear people who aren't familiar with homeschooling say, oh, but what about the socialization? Well, I'd be much more concerned about the socialization going on in public schools right now. I mean, it's an absolute disaster. They're teaching children they could be cats, and we all know what's going on in the public school system where homeschool students, it's not really at home where you homeschool. It's out in the world, and there's co-ops everywhere. My children attend a co-op twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday, and they're there pretty much the whole day on Tuesdays and Thursdays with 100 other kids their age. They're in jiu-jitsu, they're playing baseball, they're doing sports. So homeschool kids are very socialized. So what you want to do is when you decide you're going to homeschool, you want to familiarize yourself with the different methodologies of educating a child, because the only methodology we're familiar with is that the teacher's in front of the class and the student has a textbook. They have to memorize what's in the textbook, they have to memorize what the teacher says, and they have to repeat that back. But the truth is, that's not even close to being the best way of learning. And there are all these methodologies. There's unschooling. You could read a book, Free to Play by Peter Gray, really good book. There is Montessori, which you should read the books by Maria Montessori, an absolutely amazing mind, which is this concept that you could teach children with these living, amazing fictional stories, kind of like Cubs to Bears, and that you can use chores and real experience, real life experience to really help them learn. You have Charlotte Mason. Then you have Montessori method, which everyone is familiar with, which is learn through play. And then you have unschooling, which is, in my opinion, the most powerful form of education. And unschooling is the idea that you follow the interest of your child and use that interest to teach them the things you want them to learn. So, for example, I have a 13-year-old student who was really interested in dogs. So what she did was she started a dog walking business. She's 13 years old. So she's walking these dogs, and she gets enough clients where she's doing really well, and she decides she doesn't want to walk the dogs anymore because now she's interested in her business. So she winds up hiring, and this is crazy, and I laughed when I asked her because I was like, how many employees do you have now? 13-year-old girl, she winds up hiring 10 different children from around the community, her friends, to walk these dogs, and now she's running a full business that started with just her interest, where she has 10 employees walking dogs. She's dealing with the marketing, she's dealing with the accounting, she's dealing with the managerial side of the business, and it's her objective. She's going to incorporate, she has one corporation. She's going to file a secondary incorporation, and she is planning on, 13 years old, of buying her first rental property this year because now she's into real estate. And this isn't the exception. This is the rule. Like, I teach a weekly course in entrepreneurship, and all of our students are doing cool things like this. I have a 15-year-old girl who's published 3 books, and I actually just hired her, which is hilarious, and I paid her to put together a course on publishing. So she just put together a course for us on book publishing to show her classmates how they too could become published authors. And this is just kind of par for the course with homeschooling. It's so radically different from what you see in public school. And once you see the difference, you almost have to pinch yourself and you say, wow, I can't believe I ever thought about not doing this. It's such a slam dunk with how much more capable the children are just because their environment, how they're educated, and the freedom their parents give them to let them be who they are.
Absolutely. If you can dream it, it can happen. You're the only one standing in the way of not accomplishing something. We greatly appreciate the time you've given us, Brett, and the education. How can people find out more about you, your homeschooling program, and where can we get your books at?
Yeah, so all my stuff can be found at www.classicallearner.com. You go to classicallearner.com and you could read all about the different programs that we offer. But really simple, we have a basic subscription model, and our members get access to, we just give them everything. So we run live classes 5 days a week. We have all of these different pre-recorded courses on the Bill of Rights, entrepreneurship, marketing, the U.S. Constitution and real civics. We have all of these amazing unit studies on gardening and carpentry and just pretty much anything you could think of, and it's right there for our members. So classicallearner.com, our books are at that. So if you go to classicallearner.com, click on books, you'll see the Cubs to Bears book series, our newest series that I'm the author of, which is Benny Starts a Business, which I'm so excited about. So classicallearner.com. I'm Classical Learner on social media, so Instagram, X, YouTube. You can find me wherever, Classical Learner. Cubs to Bears books, I could usually have those handles. And if you have any questions, when you go to classicallearner.com, hit email us, and that will go directly to Paige, who is our director, and she will help you with anything related to homeschooling. Doesn't have to be related to our company. Say, Paige, I hear that you're the best, and you can get me started with, how do I let the school district know I'm going to homeschool? All of that stuff. Paige will get you set up and answer any questions you have, and hopefully be a good resource for you.
Well, absolutely, Brett. Thank you so much for the time, your education that you've shared with Holly, myself, and all of our listeners. We thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's going to be your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Wondering if your soil is ready for a successful spring planting season? At Grow Smarts, we make it easy to find out. With our at-home soil test kits, you can pinpoint exactly what your garden or lawn needs to thrive. Simply order online and we'll ship a test kit right to your door with everything you need, including a prepaid shipping label to send the item back. In just 2 business days, you'll receive clear, concise lab results highlighting your soil's pH levels and nutrient needs. Plus, our customized recommendations will guide you on the perfect fertilizers and amendments to use. No more guesswork, just healthier plants, vibrant flowers, and bountiful harvests. Right now you can save 10% on your order with the code RADIO at growsmart.com. That's GROSMART.com with code RADIO. It's time to kick off your spring garden with confidence. Make the most of your soil and watch your garden flourish, because when you grow smarter, your garden flourishes.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com.
My garden hasn't looked this good in a decade. That's what gardeners are saying about Carricade. No extra fertilizers, no harsh sprays, just thriving plants and massive blooms. Rated 4.8 stars. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's Radio10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com. Are you bugged by bugs? You need Naturally Green Products No More Bugs, environmentally friendly. Made in the USA, No More Bugs is a cedar blend that repels and eliminates mosquitoes, no-see-ums, ticks, fleas, roaches, ants, and more. No More Bugs is safe for you, your pets, and plants. Available online at nomorebugs.net, Amazon, Walmart.com, and the Home Shopping Network. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online. RH Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25.
If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standard strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit AzureStandard.com, that's AZURE Standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at AzureStandard.com. Azure Standard is AZURE Standard.com.
Welcome back to the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Garden questions and answers. You got a question? Send it on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we'll get an answer to you. Let's see what we can do here, Holly.
Sure thing. So, hi everyone. I have two questions. When should I separate my pepper plants since all three seeds sprouted in one peat pot? And why are my tomato plants leaves curling?
All right, if you've got multiple plants in one area, in one pot, wait until about 3 inches tall, or when the first set of leaves, true leaves, appear. That is the second set of leaves that appear on the initial stem of the plant. You'll have your seedling leaves, and then you'll have the true leaves, which mimic the actual plant leaves, in which they will be when they're full. And also, a tomato leaf curl can be caused by a variety of factors, including environmental stress, like heat or drought or inconsistent watering, a nutrient deficiency or imbalance, pest or even herbicide drift, which if you're in the house, you shouldn't have that. But those are some things in which you should be aware of. Well, that will do it. We are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Miss any portion of the program, you can find all of those episodes at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. At the top of the page, the Season 9 tab. Tune in to the program next week, where we'll be talking about tree and weed control, as well as reusing and saving money in the garden. Our guest is author Steve Bartholomew, and we'll answer your garden questions. So until next week for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.